So, we've been hearing for what feels like forever now that Apple is finally going to deliver the big Siri overhaul at WWDC next month. And today, we got a much clearer picture of what that's actually going to look like, as a few new reports from Bloomberg lay out exactly how Apple is planning to redesign Siri and iOS 27. It sounds like Apple is essentially turning Siri into a real, proper AI chatbot, which we've heard teased before, that can finally go toe-to-toe, or at least try to, with the likes of ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. There's a new chat interface, a dedicated Siri app for the first time ever, system-wide search changes, and a whole lot more. So, let's just jump right into it. The first big thing to know is that Siri is going to mostly live in the dynamic island in iOS 27. When you trigger Siri with the wake word or by holding the side button, you'll get a pill-shaped animation in the dynamic island, which is a pretty sharp departure from the glowing edge or the floating marble we've seen in recent years. When you actually ask Siri a question or give it a task, the response is going to come up as a transparent results card. From there, if you swipe down on that card, it brings up a full conversation mode that's apparently going to look a lot like an iMessage thread. So, instead of Siri giving you a one-off answer that disappears 2 seconds later, you'll have a real back-and-forth conversation, and it'll pull in mini-app cards for things like the weather, your notes, upcoming appointments, and anything relevant to what you're asking about. This is honestly the kind of thing that people have been asking for since Siri launched back in 2011. It's about time we're seeing this, and frankly, it's a better late than never situation for Apple's flagship assistant. Now, the second biggest change is that Apple is finally building a dedicated Siri app. This has never existed before. Up until now, if you asked Siri something and you needed to scroll back to see the answer or wanted to revisit a conversation from earlier in the day, you were out of luck. It was just gone. With iOS 27, the Siri app is going to let you look back at all your prior chats and start new ones. And it's laid out as a grid of rectangles with summaries of your past conversations. You can tap into any of them. There's a search bar at the top to find old chats, and a plus button in the corner to start a new conversation. It supports uploading images and documents, and you can either type to Siri or use your voice. So, basically, it's everything that you'd expect from a modern AI chatbot app, and Apple is finally giving it to us. This is actually a massive shift in philosophy. For years, Apple insisted Siri shouldn't have a body, that it should just be a voice in the ether. But the success of ChatGPT and Google Gemini has proven that users actually want a persistent place to manage their AI interactions. By giving Siri an app, Apple is admitting that AI isn't just a feature, it's a destination. The third change is system-wide search. In iOS 27, if you swipe down from the center of the display in any app, like you would to initiate search right now, you're going to get a new system-wide search interface with a search or ask bar living right in the dynamic island for typing or speaking your question. Bloomberg is describing this as similar to Spotlight search, but with more advanced results and additional data pulled in from within your apps. So, it's basically Spotlight, but much smarter and ties directly into the new Siri brain. Obviously, it's going to be using heavy-duty Apple intelligence. Siri itself is going to be able to draw information from the web to answer all kinds of general questions, the kind of stuff you'd fire off at ChatGPT, and the responses will include bullet points, summaries, and large images formatted like a proper search result page. And here's the really interesting part. While Siri is the default for that search or ask bar, if you press on it, you'll actually be able to select a different chatbot to talk to instead. So if Siri isn't quite getting it, or you're just a big ChatGPT or Gemini fan, you can trigger those directly from within the same interface. This ties into another report that said Apple is planning to let users choose third-party AI services as the default for Apple Intelligence features like writing tools and image playground. Apple is really starting to open things up beyond just the limited ChatGPT integration we've seen in previous iterations. It's a pretty significant shift in how Apple is approaching AI on the iPhone. It's moving from a walled garden to a more modular orchestration layer. Speaking of image playground, it's also getting redesigned. For those who use it, you'll notice a much cleaner look. The interface for creating a new image is being simplified with fewer controls and a cleaner layout, and there's now a Describe a change option for editing images after you've made them, something the app has desperately needed. Previously created images get displayed in a grid with more rounded edges, and instead of a New Image button, there's just a plus button matching the design language of the new Siri app. Apple has also reportedly been testing new image generation models that produce more lifelike images. We could be looking at a real step up in quality here, moving away from that slightly plastic AI look towards something more competitive with Midjourney or DALL-E 3. It's clear Apple is trying to make these tools feel less like a toy and more like a utility for the average user who just wants to fix a photo or create a high-quality graphic without needing a degree in prompt engineering. Beyond all the Siri stuff, the report also mentioned that Apple is planning changes to the camera app, Photos, Wallet, and Shortcuts. There's word of a new Siri camera mode, which would integrate visual intelligence directly into the shooting experience, allowing you to identify objects or translate text in real time through the lens. There could also be some tweaks to the liquid glass design language, that translucent, layered look Apple has been leaning into, making it feel more streamlined. So, iOS 27 isn't just a Siri update. There's going to be a lot more to dig into when WWDC rolls around on June 8th. But Siri will clearly be the star of the show. After years of delays, after the original promised personalized Siri that was supposed to ship with earlier versions and just kept getting pushed back, and after Apple reportedly sent its Siri engineers to an AI coding boot camp earlier this year, this finally feels like the moment that Apple delivers on the vision they pitched over a decade ago. Whether it actually lives up to the hype when it ships in the fall is another question entirely. We've seen Apple promise smarter Siri before, only to be met with "I found this on the web." But this time feels different because the infrastructure has changed. We're moving to an era where the assistant isn't just a voice-to-text engine. It's a large language model with access to your personal context. If Apple can nail the balance between privacy and utility, this could be the biggest upgrade to the iPhone's user experience since the introduction of the gesture-based interface on the iPhone X. It's clear Apple is no longer aiming to just catch up. They want to redefine the role of the smartphone operating system as a central intelligence hub. This could be a make-or-break moment for the company's AI reputation. If Siri 2.0 is as good as these reports suggest, it might actually justify the price tags on the latest hardware. But I'd love to hear from you. What do you think about this new Siri that's being laid out? Are you ready for a dedicated Siri app, or do you prefer the assistant staying tucked away in the background? And honestly, with the option to swap in ChatGPT or Gemini as a default, would you actually stick with Siri? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm curious to see if the trust is still there for Apple's assistant. Of course, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our hands-on coverage whenever the beta drops. We'll be going deep into the settings and showing you every hidden feature. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.